When I want to say you must learn to sew your coat according to the way of echo according to your size, and I'll tell them no, it's even wrong. You must learn to sew your coat according to your available material, so that if your available material cannot give you trouser, you can do a short. Can't give you long sleeve, you can do a short sleeve. Easy access to finance. Does it trigger over indebtedness? It's not a question that's quite open as it sounds literally, but what we need to first look at is, for persons to appreciate what we are discussing, we also need to look at what does over-indebtedness actually means, right? Over-indebtedness will mean or speak to the total amount of debt an individual or an institution owe, or obligation they owe, sensible obligation they owe, compared to their means of income to settle those obligations, right? So, but generally speaking, if you want to bring it home to what we are doing, our day-to-day operations, inclusion, microfinancing, and of course lending, yes, but this will not be the entire fault of the borrower, right? Because as a practitioner, as an institution, or as a player in the industry, we also owe it as a right or a duty, right, to protect the customer. And how do you protect customers against over-indebtedness? It comes in the way of training, enlightenment. And now, when we are talking about disbursement in microfinancing, there's something called training, or what you call preload training. It simply means before you avail anybody, either a group or an individual person, or an individual alone, there comes a place of training. And that training basically means you tell the person what to do with the money, right? What not to do with the money. Example, everybody can take loans, right? But if they are not trained to understand that this loan I'm taking must be directed into income generating activities, they can take it to buy wardrobes, right? And furnish it with very beautiful plates that they will use maybe once or twice a year, depending on the religion they practice, right? Either on Salah or Christmas or New Year, right? But those plates and those wardrobes will not generate income, right? And it's also upon the individual or the practitioner to say, before we give our loans, right, let's even check if this woman already has money facility. What is the status, or what are the status of these facilities? Are they performing? And what is the cumulative repayment that is expected of these facilities that are running on either on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis? Then let's compare it to the available net cash flow of this person that is applying based on either their sales record, their bank statement, or their inventory, discounts, suppliers credit if they have that in their business already. Then if the practitioners or players are able to do this, what they've done in essence is that, one, through preload training, they've been able to make this woman understand that you don't need this much loan because you already have a cap at your cash flow. Because if you take, I was sharing with somebody the other day, I said there are some loans these women will take, right, that will make them change home address. Why is that? Because they understand that they don't have the means to service this obligation. So when they hear the loan officer or the relationship manager is approaching, they run to the bush. Most even travel until that loans maybe they become bad and they don't fully visit the news.
So this topic is very, very important because I remember back in the days when I was still a credit officer and 2014, I used to do this group lending. There's this village in Tagora, you know that Tagora roadside. There's this village, the chief invited us to come and do like presentation of the kind of loans that we're giving. You know, these local villages, they are actually bagging people. So the chief gathered them about 200 women because I know how to speak Hausa, so I was the one that was asked to do the presentation. After doing the presentation, both people that do not have anything that they are doing and the ones that maybe is farming that they don't even understand what we want to do. They just believe that these people have come, they want to give you money to go and start a business. A lot of people came that period, they collected funds. Now, because we as a company, we had targets, wanted to be targets. Yeah. We've seen 200 million, like wow, we've broken a new market, still plenty people, no problem. We're just rushing processes on board, give them. The chief has vouched for these people. We made access to loan very easy. But 6 months down the line, when we started doing review of how well this product has done, a lot of people, most of those women, some of them will come back and tell you that this money that we collected, actually we did not use this money. It was the chief that said we should collect the money and then give to him. He will help us to buy goods and give to us, and then we sell. Right? Because we made it very easy. We didn't put some measures in place to checkmate all those kind of proxy loans. It became a problem both for now. It became a problem for the chief. It became a problem for the person that took the loan, and also a problem for me being the account officer. I spent close to like 3 months trying to do recovery. There are some that if today you will not recover this money, they have to eating off. So these are some of the issues that you face when you provide. We are not saying it is bad to have to give easy access to those, but don't throw caution to the wind. A lot of people will complain when you start saying bring guarantor, sign this paper, do that. A lot of people will complain, but aside from protecting the institution, there's also that you protect the borrower from what they do not know if you do due diligence in terms of
If we are talking about access, right, we can also limit it to how well are the players ready to present a customer against by related because after you start content detrimental, right? It's just like water is good for the body and you don't keep coping water. You don't keep coping water at the point you become detrimental to the system, right? So it's the same thing with access to lending, right? Players should be able to put in control to ensure that the borrowers are not exposed to my indebted. And it does not because one thing it does is that it has a way of also triggering apart from the economic or financial impact on the customer and the borrowers, it also has a way of triggering health implications on them. Because when you can't sleep properly because you overborrow, you've gone above your threshold, it becomes a mental burden or on you too. You can't sleep at night, you can't give attention to what you should give attention to. So yes, it can be if the institution that is availing the credit to the borrower have not done the right thing, right? And if the person that is actually asking for this funding as well actually does not know the implication of, you know, getting exposed, to borrowing so many debt because at the end of the day, you see most of them in a cycle, robbing Peter to pay for, but they still have fresh obligations to service. So yes, it can serve as access to easy access to cash or finance can lead to over-indebtedness if both the practitioner and the customers have not done the right thing. The right thing in this context will be the practitioner availing the loan to ensure that one, you must protect these customers. You have the right to protect these customers against over-indebtedness by enlightenment, by making them aware of the implications of getting over-indebted, right? Two, you must also provide trainings, awareness. So lecture them, make them see reasons why they shouldn't do it. Then the right thing on the customer is that um, in my time at credit officers, right? When I go for pre-loan training, I always tell when I want to say you must learn to sew your coat according to they will all echo according to your size. And I'll tell them no, it's even wrong. You must learn to sew your coat according to your available material. So that if your available material cannot give you trouser, you can do a short. Can't give you long sleeve, you can do a short sleeve. So that you don't get into trouble. Because another reference I'll make again is that even vehicles that is made with iron or metal, at the point you hear that the vehicle's engine has knocked up, right? Those are things that were made or fabricated with iron or steel. How about humans? So for them, they also need to know their limits. They also need to understand what cash flow means. So that because loan is never ending. And if every business, whether sole proprietary or not, is operated as a going concern, if you're able to deal with current obligation, you can apply for anyone rather than having six, seven obligations running at the same time. Because in real life, there are women today that on Monday they are thinking of one repayment to pay. But Tuesday they go and pay another one. Wednesday, Thursday, so and maybe after church or Sunday they have one small one they contribute and that one man go trade. One source of income, right? So yes, it can if the right things are not put in place.
Thank you. I don't have much to say again because he has actually covered everything. I think the answer does easy access to credit encourage over borrowing. It's just yes, because I've also seen it where some people sit down and mastermind a way to, because they have different institutions to collect money from. I know our system in Nigeria, the credit report, yes, only give you those institutions that upload your loans and I want yes. Now I want to take a loan and I target to get say 20 million and I know I'm qualified 100% from my record 555 million. What I'll do within that period, I can decide, okay, I'll collect 5 million, 5 million, 5 million, 5 million. Because I know that no institution will be able to give me 20 million. So it's high time we begin to have a conversation around how can we protect the institution for such issues? Because Nigeria, most people live on credit. Yeah. Because for you to survive. Now, the route you got yesterday is not more the same price. And some people wants to, and based on Nigerian market strategy now, when it's cheap, I need to get enough for this season. When out of season, I'll begin to sell. So probably the money they have to get, I'm not able to get it done. So how do we get it? So even customers sit down and play their own cards on this situation. That's why sometimes you can go for a conveyance as you leave it up, you see all them for their way, say, ah, maybe the same address. Yeah, call me another. So we used to have a conversation. How do we solve this? It's a big problem on the financial industry. It's a big problem. Now, some people now begin to okay, we even take this money and disappear in Japan and just find out here. And you know the cost of phone. So my answer is a capital yes. Once there's that so many access to finance, people can borrow as that's why you see one person they can borrow from 10 different institutions. As long as we not some people don't even care. They're not most times they're not borrowing for business. They're also borrowing for comfort, for fake life. To also show that Odogu because he has given a particular way of life. Or to even to prepare their neighbor or to show that yes, I've arrived. You know, especially in festive period. So my answer is yes.